Hello, I'm Tochku and I'll be taking you through the view expenses and add expense under the expenses section on Niva. So this has to deal with how you can add expense on Niva for a trading business. This video is particularly tailored for trading businesses, although it's very similar to production businesses, but they have very a lot. They have a lot of similarities, but they have some few very slight differences, especially in the add and edit expense area. So, but this video is tailored to businesses that are into trading, buying and selling. If you want the one for production, you can watch the production videos. So, how do you handle expenses? When you click on view expenses, it shows you a list of expenses you currently have. So you can see some expenses that have actually been imputed in the past. So you can see you can see that the serial number is in red. So when you see the expense serial number in red, right, what it means is that that expense has been altered at least once since when it was created. So you can use these options to export it to PDF, Excel sheet, and work with that if you want that. And you can equally print it, right? You can print the table and a whole lot more. So let's quickly add an expense, shall we? Right? But before we add an expense, uh, you if you add an expense, you can only edit or delete the expense if it is not more than 7 days from when it was created. Right? That's when you can edit or delete the expense. But if it's more than 7 days, you can only edit the expense if it's a credit expense. Like if it's an expense that was done on credit, you haven't finished paying for it or you haven't paid, right? So you can still edit it, make amends to certain fields, and then change it to, and you can convert it to paid, right? But once you set it from credit to paid, you won't be able to edit or delete that expense anymore. So what do I mean? Let's get into practical, shall we? We click on add expense. So you can see, right? It shows what was explained, right? So you select the expense name and amount, the ENA. So we talked about ENAs in the video for ENAs. This is where they are there. We can watch the video on ENAs and get more on that, right? To understand. But basically, we select the ENA. So in this case, we already have some ENAs that are there, right? So let's assume. So if you look at this, right, you can see that it's showing expense type orders, right? But if you select this, it's showing for cost of goods sold. So now, if it's an ENA that is for cost of goods, is a type has a type of cost of goods sold, you have to select the product, right? And then you have to select the product. But if it's an ENA that is of type orders, you don't have to select the product, right? So let's just select let's select this salary, right? So and then let's put the payment type of paid. Let's say the expense has been paid for, right? And it has been paid for. And we select the payment method. So let's just put orders, right? And then we put the quantity. Let's say we have two sales representative, right? And then we put the quantity two. And now when you use automatically calculate it, Niva handles the total amount spent on the expense. But if in a case where you want to manually enter it, right? Let's say you made an expense, and even if the ENA's amount, let's say in this case is 100,000, right? For that particular expense, maybe you made it, you paid each unit was 95,000 or 90,000, or you paid more. Maybe for that, like for instance, in this case, so let's say it's a representative salary. Let's say that month you decided to pay the representative sales representative 120,000 that month, right? So, but their salary is still 100,000, right? So instead of going to change the ENA and coming here to select the ENA, you can just quickly 120,000 by 2, right, is 240,000. So it's going to automatically know that okay, this is a special kind of expense, right? But the ENA's price hasn't changed. So if you want the ENA's price to change, you have to go and update ENA and come back. But we're just going to use automatically calculate it in this case. And let's say the date of expense. Let's select that date there. Right. So if you have a vendor where an expense was made, you can actually select the vendor. But in this case, you can see that we'll just leave it because it's not in red. Wherever you have this red asterisk on Niva means it's a mandatory field, right? So, but if you have a vendor, let's say someone supplied the person you buy phone from, for instance, or where you pay your electricity bill, for instance, or some other thing like that. So you can have the vendor added in this vendor's place here. You can watch the vendor's video for a whole lot more on that, and you can actually select the vendor. But if you don't want, you can leave it. So you have to select the employees involved in the expense. So let's just select this person, right? Or let's select the employee himself, and then you can select the equipment involved in the expense. So it's not mandatory. So you can watch the equipment section to understand what equipments are on Niva, but a very basic level explanation. Equipments are any tool at all you use to make work easier in your organization. And I'm not just talking about tools, like you can even vehicles are equipment. Anything at all you feel like it's something you use to carry out operations in your organization, you can register it as an equipment, especially when it's related to tools, vehicles, machinery, or things like that. But anything at all, you can register it as an equipment. So we have the document section. So documents are used to, let's say you have any extra receipt or anything at all, pictures, receipt you want to attach, documents, you can actually attach them here, right? And you can see that they're not mandatory. So if we select this, let's just select some documents. So let's just say let's just put some receipts, right? Let's just select this, just put one receipt, right? So you still have 3 more slots. You can decide to put the 4 of them. You can decide to utilize just one. You can decide to group documents that are related to each other and put them in a Word document or PDF and upload them to the 4 slots. So what are these? What is video link? Whenever you see video link on Niva, it's like videos that you've recorded and you upload and you want to attach to the record to give it more detailed description. For instance, let's say in this case now, um, okay, we can just copy a video, but let's assume you made an expense and you want to record maybe some of the things that you bought, right? So the people, because Niva is created in such a way that team members can handle it. So team members that have access to this part of the business can record the video, upload it to any of the file or video uploading services they want to use, and paste the link here. But if you use it, if you go to the tip section, there are some video uploading platforms that have been listed there that you can decide to use, but Niva doesn't restrict you. You can choose to use any other platform you intend to use. Is left to you, really. So if you click on so let's just get a link, and I'll just copy this link, right? And then let's just paste it here. So once we do that, we can use the additional details to write additional like notes we want, but it's not mandatory, so we can decide to leave it. So let's just click submit. So once that has been done, you can see that the expense has been successfully created. But we notice something now. We notice, right, that we can see that this one has a date and delete, but these particular ones just have only few. So because it was just created, it's not more than 7 days from when it was created, we can still edit or delete it. But after 7 days, we won't be able to edit it because this is a paid expense. So if it's a credit expense, you can still edit it, but you can't delete it. And as you can't delete it, once you convert it from credit to paid, right, then you won't be able to edit it anymore if it's after 7 days from when it was created. So if we click on view, you can see that we can view the information there, right? We can view the information, and we can view the receipt, and we can view the video. So but let's go back, right, and click edit. So if we click on edit, we can still edit details, right? So let's assume we want to edit something. Let's say the quantity, we change this to 3. And then when you come to this documents part, right, if you check this, what it means is it's going to delete the initial document that was there. But if you actually upload a new document, it will replace the existing one that was there before. So if you no longer want any document there, you can use this to delete. But in this case, let's just select a new document, right? Let's select a new document. Let's just say a new picture. Then let's just put this, right? And then we can still update any of the following fields. And if you haven't uploaded pictures before or any documents, you can still upload them if you want. So you can upload video link and upload this, and then you can save. So if it's an expense that was done on credit, right, here would be credit, right? So until you want to convert it from paid, right, you can use this to track something we call payments that were done on credit, right? So if you want to use this feature, you can use it to actually you can be using this note section to, you know, manually write, okay, each time you make document, each time you made you paid, right? You, if it's a credit payment, let's say you paid half, right, and then you are making instrumental payments to clear the debt, you can use that to like document each time you did that. But if you don't want to do that, right, if you want to actually go the extra mile, there's a feature called credit expense repayment. You can watch the video on that to get more on all of that, right? But we'll show you how you can get to that here. But for this case, let's just update this, right? So we change the quantity from 2 to 3, and then we click we change this, we try to change, we want to change the icon, and we click update. So you can see that the expense now shows in red, the serial number shows in red, right? That's because it has been edited at least once, or altered at least once since when it was created. And the owner of the business and the managers all get email notifications of what was just altered. So if you click view, you can see that the quantity is this, right? Total amount is this, right? You can see that, and you can see that the expense last updated is now in red. That to show that it has actually been altered, and to tell you when it was altered, right? So you can see that the document has changed and the video link is still there, right? So let's just, you can actually use the print button to print the page, right? So let's go back. So now that we are back here, if we actually want to delete this, we can use delete. So when we use delete, it will delete the expense, right? So let's delete the expense. So you see, the owner of the business and the managers, as of the time of recording this video, we get email notifications of what just happened, right? So, but let's do something now. Let's create a credit expense, so that we can show you the other feature that you can use to document if you want to go the extra mile for those who are interested in it. So let's actually just use this, right? And let's just say credit, and let's put a quantity of 2, and let's just automatically calculate it. And let's put this, let's put employees, right? And then let's just click submit. So now if we click on view, you can see something called credit sale repayments, right? So if you go to the credit, if you watch the credit expense repayment. So if you watch the credit expense repayment video, it gives you more information on how to document instrumental payment, right? Or go the extra mile in using that if you don't want to use the notes feature and just be doing that, right? Some people might prefer that because they feel like they don't want to go that much, just want to make it real simple and use the document section to, you know, manually input upload documents of repayments. But if you actually use this feature, you can now go the extra mile and document each credit expense repayment and upload it, right? So that's how that works. But you can get more of that on the credit expense repayment video, right? So that is that on business. That's that on expenses for trading, you know, buying and selling businesses. Thank you for your time, and do have a wonderful day.